Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with another follower-submitted AITA story for you. Am I the astronaut for telling my ex's wife about us? I was the side piece to my boss for 12 years. I met him at my company, our chemistry was just perfect, and we hit it off easily. I learned that he was married, so I kept myself at bay. I left briefly and came back only to find out that he was separated from his wife. We started flirting and hit it back off. One day before he left on vacation, we met up for drinks and slept together. Whilst he was away, we spoke briefly via email or instant messenger. Before he came back, I restarted my BSc. And when he came back, we hung out a few times, and then I got a call the night before a test, and he told me that he and his wife were getting back together. I was broken, but I pushed my focus to my test, and I never mentioned it again. 2 months after it was my birthday, he asked me to meet him in an office for a meeting, and he kissed me. I let things happen, and we started getting close and sleeping together. I made sure to never call him at home, and he would meet me on weekends. I would only call him at home if necessary, but made sure it sounded like it was about work in case his phone was on speaker. His wife started to suspect that he was having an affair because he was talking about me nonstop. I was pretty young at the time, and he told me he loved me, and I believed him. He told me that his wife was sick and she couldn't perform her duties. I believed him until one day he told me that he was going to be a father again in front of everyone at the office, and a lot of people knew we were having an affair. My heart dropped. He did this on Valentine's Day that year. He called me and confined me, and I believed his words that he loved me and made me believe that it was never his intention to have another child with his wife. Okay, I don't think OP meant confined me. Maybe comforted, confided in, not confined. Look, I'm gonna lock you in this room, and I want you to know that I love you. I believed him. We carried on our relationship for the next 8 years. We were inseparable and we loved each other, or so I was led to believe. I would make sure he had breakfast and lunch every day, as we would sometimes go for drinks. I always surprised him with gifts and showered him with love and evenings out. However, as the company expanded, we began to argue and he began to want to break up more. I begged him every time because I believed he loved me, and he kept saying he was feeling bad because he was having an affair. He kept saying that his kids are getting bigger and the relationship just didn't sit right, that his wife was beginning to realize that he was seeing someone, and he was afraid of getting caught. The year after COVID, we started back working in the office. He ended it with me totally. He told me he can't do this. He was tired of lying to his wife and he wanted to get his life together. I began to let him go, but we would meet up and still sleep together. For his birthday, I met him for drinks and texted him a happy birthday. I will always love him since I couldn't get the courage to tell him since he broke up with me. The next day, he never showed up for work. I tried calling and he texted me that his wife saw the message and was furious. So I decided to let it go and try to give him the space he wanted after 12 years. I cried so much it affected my mental health. Fast forward to the next month. A coworker tells me how she saw him and another girl at the office together for her birthday. I couldn't believe it. After I confronted him, he told me he never loved me and that I was ugly and fat, that I never satisfied him, and a lot of degrading things. I got so angry I hit him and stormed out. The other girl at the office who he was with started to laugh at me and she said, "Oh, she won the man." I was so embarrassed, all I could think about was getting him to hurt like how I hurt. So I called his wife and told her everything. She thanked me and she immediately packed her things and left. 6 months after, my ex shows up at my door drunk and begging for me back. He wanted to run away with me, and he showed me his phone that his girlfriend kept calling him over 100 times that day. I told him I would go if he answers it and tells her that he is with me. He never did, and I left him alone. His wife and I communicated now and then, but she called me a few months after to ask me if he and the other girl were together. I told her, "You deserve a good man. I wish you all the best." I made a decision to move on and leave the drama behind, so I blocked her, and she left him for good after that. He made a few moves and asked for me back, and even said if we were to get back together, no one can find out. I laughed at him and said, "You can no longer fool me with your BS." I also started to learn how to love myself and what real love is. I vowed never to run back to the person that broke me. Okay, the question is, am I the astronaut for telling my ex's wife about us? Oh my God. I mean, look, you're the astronaut for a lot of things in here. I don't know that that's one of them, or maybe it is, because when you did it, when you finally told her, it was at what point? You only did it because he started seeing a different girl. Like, you were doing it because it was the right thing to do. You were just doing it to hurt him. There's no honor in that. There's no honor in coming clean at that point because you had been with him for what? 12 years. You cheated with this man who was married. And then when he starts seeing someone else, you tell the wife and you're like, yeah, I think I did something good. Or maybe I'm the astronaut for that. Why in the hell would you believe that this guy really loved you when he was just cheating with you? Every night he was going home to his wife, whom he, apparently doesn't love either. He doesn't love any of the women that he's messing with here. None of them he truly loves. You were a side piece, and that was it. His poor wife in all of this, who suspected something, but I'm sure he charmed her into believing his bullshit as well, because that's the game here. This guy doesn't know love, and that's sad. I pity him. I pity you through this too, because if this is what you think love is, you got a lot of learning to do. I think where you ended in this is great. The fact that you're learning to love yourself. Make that the only focus right now. And actually the only focus moving forward. Because only when you truly love yourself and you can truly be happy, not needing someone else for the rest of your life, can you really accept someone into the rest of your life. You needed him for those 12 years. And that's why it worked. He was able to play on the emotions of people who needed him or needed a man or needed someone like him in their life and become that person for multiple people at the same time. And getting involved with him when you knew that he was married is definitely an astronaut thing to do. For 12 years, it's quite a bit worse. And then to only come clean whenever he starts seeing someone else because you're butthurt about it, yeah, that's pretty bad too. I'm not going to bring up the ascon scale for this because this is sad. This is sad, and I know that it happens all the time. People get duped into this, but it's just sad. This is going to take a long time to heal from, and I wish you the best on your journey here. Comments, let me know what you guys think. Does this belong on the ascon scale? I mean, the question is, am I the astronaut for telling my ex's wife about us? That's the specific question that's been asked here. There are a lot of things wrong throughout all of this, but for that specific question, let me know what you think.